according to the company that Rosa works for, these are the various industries, and these are the people that kind of hire different career paths. And I've seen instructional designers in almost all of these, if not all of them. So is there anything in here that's like surprising or that you would not have expected?
These are all what I mean,
Yeah, they're not surprising at all.
I think training, instruction, development needs to be in every field and every business to some extent.
Yes.
So it should be this entire list.
So what kind of training happens over here in number 7? What
That
does
would
the
be a
L&D
lot of
department do there?
safety. That would be a lot of safety and compliance training.
Safety.
Very much so, yeah.
OSHA.
Mm-hmm. And what about leisure and hospitality?
I will say
Safety
that
again.
the internship I've applied for, Biltmore Company has
Soft
a
skills.
massive training because all of the employees of Biltmore, from the managers to the custodial staff, have to know and understand all things Biltmore, all things Vanderbilt, so that if a customer stops you and says, so how many windows are in this house? You have to be able to answer that question. And they have a very well-known program designed around learning about Biltmore. In other hospitality,
tied to like Disney they are, because that's kind of like at Disney.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they've sent their people to the Disney leadership. That would be something they would do. But yeah, I mean, for the leisure side of hospitality, it's that. For the other side of hospitality, it's functional for some, in some cases, like following procedures of
Sales as well.
housekeeping.
The position that even let me know what an ID was for Disney Cruise Lines, and they were going to be creating learning for their consultants and their salesmen. So it's everywhere.
There are many opportunities in Orlando. I've seen it come up over and over again for instructional designers in call centers around like the timeshare industry. Actually, Rosa worked in a timeshare company doing that. Also, one of the things that I found was very interesting is one of the past presidents of the ATD chapter was part of the training team at Disney, and they don't do a lot of e-learning. It's all very face-to-face. It's all done like on site at the different attractions in the park, and when you walk around the hotels and things. It's all done. Well, I assume it is still face-to-face. I don't know what happened over the last year, but it was all because we would talk about it, and he was like, "Yeah, we're really behind on the e-learning world." And I'm like, "Really?" I would be thinking that you guys would be like on tablets and stuff, and you guys would be using like GPS type stuff, so that like when you're in certain parts of the park, you don't need to worry about other types of content and stuff. I think you guys would be all over it with your entertainment divisions and stuff. And nope, they were not.
Piece of that I see is what I see, because I do teach online, and my content areas are early childhood and special education. It's really hard to teach relationships in an online format.
Sure.
Because it is so disconnected from other humans. And so knowing what I know about Disney, I see that as a key component of their success is the way they engage their guests. So they're going to want to be more face-to-face and engaging with their employees in the same way through modeling.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that is interesting, if you go to the Disney University, which is their
right on that.
Their training building, and I believe Maria, have you and Heidi, have you guys both been there at any of the ATD chapter meetings when they were there?
Yeah, I remember that we be there.
They have a room that you can go into that has every single bed type. They have every single bathroom type, and that if you're a maid, you have to go through that process, all the cleaners and things. It's all there, and you have to work in all their different environments. They have like a made-up store, and you go in, and people act as customers, and they have to understand how all the things in the store work. They have a hotel counter that has access to their hotel check-in system, I mean, it's all like live simulation type stuff. It's really interesting.
Great.
And I
And-
believe that that's what bring up their success, because they are very into details and immerse their people in the experience that they will be having every day. I mean,
And
It's
if you go
it's
to
what
the
we
park,
do. We have a significant, our college has a culinary and hospitality program, baking and pastry arts, the whole 9 yards. They run a full-size multi-course dinner every week. They do lunches every other week. We have seven hotel rooms. So they're doing live things to learn about it. And that's, that's part of how you learn to do those things.
you have to.
Mhm. And they
The,
work all the areas. So if they're doing culinary, they're front of the house, they're servers, they're back of the house, they're sous chefs, they're chefs. I mean, it's a very expansive program.
trade, transportation, and logistics. That's your Amazon. That's your UPS, FedEx. The UPS store in Orlando, there's a Lake Mary training area that is fantastic for UPS. They when you join UPS as a driver, you're going to this program. They'll fly you from all over the country, and they invest lots of money for you to be here. And I didn't realize it, but when people sign up for UPS, that's like a career level job to be a driver for UPS truck. That's like a very sought after career position. And I was kind of surprised to hear that.
I have a student who, FedEx is very similar. I have a student who's coming back to school to be a teacher assistant because his wife is a school teacher and they want to be on the same schedule. He's retiring from FedEx. He started at FedEx at 18 years old, and he is now retiring from FedEx and coming and taking classes so he can be an instructional assistant.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's a career.
Yeah, they have almost like a warehouse sized room here in Orlando where they have various trucks, and they watch you go on and off the trucks and how you carry stuff. They have special areas that you walk in. They have a harness walking system so that you can see the differences in how the different types of shoes work on icy surfaces. They have like clipboards, and you have to follow those clipboards like to the time. And that if you're late to stuff, or if you aren't doing things on the schedule, you get docked and you work as a team, because they run everything on a clock. You know, their entire job is how quickly did you get from here to there to here to there. They have 3D simulators for driving, and they have to like point out things in the roads that are the hazards. They have special trucks that they drive in for training where there's a third seat in the middle, and so they can put 2 people in, and they have mirrors that can literally see all the way around the truck so that they can spot hazards and things. They have a little village that you drive around in, and you have to like go do the drop-offs at the different types of houses and the loads and unloads at different types of loading areas and stuff. It's really, really intensive. And that's all instructional design work to create all that stuff and put it all together. That's Rosa's company. So the question was, what does an instructional designer do at that company? That's my company. And then there was another lady that was part of this program. She works at Janice. I don't know. Do you guys know what Janice is?
No.
It's a network marketing company, and they sell like makeup and stuff. So she's an instructional designer for the network marketing company. So here, these are different companies in Orlando that hire instructional designers. And I'll move your picture, Jennifer, so you guys can see. JetBlue handles there's flight simulators and things, and they train all the stewardesses, the flight crew and such. Florida Virtual School is the online school. If you're not taking the class where they're teaching the class online live through the classroom that they did during COVID, there's another program called Florida Virtual School that you can take that's online school.
Yeah, we have North Carolina has a K-12 virtual school as well.
Okay, so that's all run by instructional designers. Carly Corporation is a female-owned Department of Defense contracting company. So they do training simulators and things like that for the military. So you're talking about simulators around things like helicopter maintenance, submarine maintenance, possibly navigating a boat, from the deck of the boat, that kind of stuff. Florida Hospital is health type stuff. Visitana is the timeshare stuff.
Mhm.
Children's Home Society is,
Adoption and foster care.
yeah.
And they train foster parents. They
Okay.
train people to become
That's
foster
what I remember
parents
that song.
and training for their staff, of course. But
Okay. So are
that's one
are
of their
they
big.
national?
There are lots of children's home societies,
Okay.
not fully national, but very similar programs around the country.
Vanessa, you can talk about this one.
Yeah. They're Stark Industries.
Yeah, Stark Industries. There you go.
My
That just
husband
clicked
works
in my
for
head.
Lockheed. Yeah, my husband works for Lockheed now for over like 10 years. And so,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
That's like missiles and communications and
From
yeah, it's
Lockheed.
aerospace type stuff.
Top secret, doesn't tell me anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
that
working on the Iron Man program. Yeah.
Yeah, probably is.
You guys know
Security.
who that? Do you know who this is?
No.
Heard of them, and it's just not coming to me who they are.
Let me give you a hint. Have you ever been
Darling.
to Olive Garden?
That's the restaurant company,
Yes.
Oh,
because they own
that's
Olive
it.
Garden, Red Lobster, and several
Okay.
others.
Yeah.
They
do
own
not
a bunch
Red
of
Lobster anymore.
franchises.
They
Okay.
don't own they got rid of Red Lobster. Longhorn Steaks is part of their chain. Seasons 52, I think, is part of their chains.
They have lots
Breeze.
of restaurant franchise chains.
Yeah. So
I knew
all
I
of
knew
these are
them.
companies in Orlando that hire instructional designers. And the only reason I chose Orlando is because that's where I'm at. That's when I gave this presentation, it was all Orlando. And it was in a classroom, so everybody there was from Orlando. So, but hopefully that kind of gives you a feel for what this field looks like.
Well, I think in the last, in the last year and a half, the remote positions for instructional design have boomed. So now you really find a lot more and a lot more remote.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. This one,
Tons of remote positions.
yeah. I mean, you probably find more remote positions than in-person positions.